Good morning, everyone, and thank you for joining the Clallam EDC Coffee Chat, Coffee with Colleen. We are excited to have our friend Dave Gering join us this morning. He is with the Manufacturing Industrial Council, and he's brought a few of his colleagues with him, educators at both Neah Bay and in Port Angeles. So thank you, and thanks for joining us. We are excited to have them present about the Core Plus program primarily, and which is such an important industry-driven curriculum system in different industry sectors, and I'll let him talk about that. But just a few housekeeping items before we kick it off. I'm going to put some folks on mute so we don't inadvertently pick up background noise. And if you have any questions for them, we like to make it interactive. Please either put your question in the chat and I'll read it, or alternatively, you can raise your hand and we will call on you. So with that, Dave, thanks so much for joining us today, and go ahead and take it away.
Well, I will. To get ready for this, number one, I really appreciate the opportunity, and I am joined by some wonderful local partners up there. And to get ready for this, I read your 5-year economic development plan. And what I wanted to reassure you is there's not a community in the United States of America where we wouldn't go and find the number one concerns of people are affordable housing and health care, which are your two number one items of concern. But there's very few places in this nation I would go that would have as many strengths as Clallam County has. And I have met that, and that's why I'm so glad the educators are with me. So Raya Hawks, science and technology teacher in middle school at Neah Bay. Billy Monette was on here somewhere earlier. He is a phenomenal shop teacher at Neah Bay High School. That's where we started. That's where I was introduced actually to Clallam County. And then we're joined by Jen Rogers from Port Angeles High School, and I think the Port Angeles whole CTE program, right, Jen? And I'm so impressed by Port Angeles High School along with Neah Bay High School. And then I see that Jeremy Johnson is on here, who Jen just has a terrific industry advisory group. And I met Jeremy through all of that. So I think you have incredible strengths to build on. Uh, the the last section of the Makah most recent tribal history book, called The Sea is My Country, concludes with a section called Traditional Future. Most people would hear that and kind of go into a brain freeze and try to figure out what the hell do they mean by traditional future. For the Manufacturing Industrial Council of Seattle, man, I know exactly what they're talking about. That is exactly what Industrial Seattle wants. We want to move forward into the future, but building on our success to this point, building on our community strengths. You know, it's a first rule of economic development. Build on what your assets are. Build on what you're already good at. When I look at Clallam County, I don't know of a region in the United States that has access to better seafood. I mean, come on, where? Go out to Neah Bay. What was it, Jen? Just a year ago, we went out and started. I hadn't even met Jen until less than a year ago. It was in September. And as part of a several-day training program for teachers, we had the seafood smoke-off where we challenged the Makah community. Let's see who can cook the best seafood. And it was one of the funnest events I have ever been at. And they brought the elders out to judge it. Don't take this the wrong way. I know it's being recorded. The elders, I called them with love the cackling grannies. I've been married for 50 years. I know there's nothing better than an older gal who understands the ways of the world. And when they brought the elders out, man, the entire mood changed. It was, what can we get you? What can we get you? I've never seen older people so prized by their community. Well, they needed blackberries to cleanse their palate before they would test the seafood. God, the entire community's out there then getting them blackberries. So it was just a wonderful, wonderful event. So you got great seafood, unbelievable geographic location. Your harbor Uh, all your maritime stuff is just outstanding. The companies that I have met, Jeremy, I believe, is with Arrow. Correct me if I'm wrong. But your logistic companies up there, terrific. The boat builders you've got, terrific. So build on your strengths. And again, the section where the Macaw take literally a page out of their book, they call it traditional future. And I've really come to believe in that. And so I don't know. I want to make sure that if Jen would like to say anything, you can before I just keep rambling on. Raya, again, Billy Monette is on here, known as Paco. He was our Educator of the Year in the entire Core Plus program last year. To know what a hell of an accomplishment that is. The same year, one of our teachers from South Kitsap got 100 grand from Harbor Freight as one of the 4 best shop teachers in the United States. Well, he finished second to Paco. Uh, that was our Educator of the Year. And then our standard for a lot of this stuff on career learning is the welding teacher at West Sound Tech in Bremerton, Bela Kovac, who once again placed 9 kids, I think, immediately at the Puget Sound Naval Shipyard. This guy is the best welding teacher in the state of Washington. He does the best job of including young women. Every year, 25% of his students are girls. That is unprecedented in the world of welding. And every man who's in welding knows women are better at welding than men are. So again, that's I know it's all the way to Bremerton, but West Sound Tech, I'm used to finding excellence on the Olympic Peninsula, and that's what I have found in Clallam County.
Hey
Okay.
Dave, maybe I'll jump in here.
Okay.
I apologize. We've got all of our teacher trainings this week, and so my time is a little limited because we need to be with the teachers as we get started. But I wanted to share, and Billy and Raya are amazing in Nia Bay at what they're doing in their programs as well. Our Core Plus Maritime program is a 3-hour block for our students. So what our students do is take the class in the morning, and within the Core Plus Maritime framework, what we're able to do as well is to get a English, a science, and a math credit. And so for a lot of our kids, reading Romeo and Juliet or doing an algebraic equation is not really something that, they want to sit down and are willing to. But if you give them a manual for an engine, you give them a manual for something, then they're all about that. So they're still getting those core concepts, but we're able to apply it to something that they're very interested in. And then Jake Helpenstell is our teacher. Unfortunately, he wasn't able to be here today because of, again, the teacher trainings that he's committed to. But he has been doing an amazing job. Aero Marine has really stepped up. Hakama Group has been doing a great job working with our students. Black Ball Ferry as well has had the opportunity to let our kids come out. They were out last year on the boat and did their actual fire training, got to see what it was like, got down into the engine room, we're up on the bridge. And really the essence of the Core Plus Maritime program is to show our students what the opportunities are and let them experience some of those different components of the maritime industry that is so strong here in Port Angeles, and to really keep our kids maybe at home and then also show them what can I do and to give them different experiences in that. One of the things that we're doing this year that we're really excited about that we were able to purchase with a grant from the Maritime program is the students will be putting together an aluminum boat. And so they will actually get to experience all of that. I know Billy does some amazing things up in Nia Bay with his program as well. But the program really does. We have 24 students, which seems like, could it be more? But because it's a 3-block period, those kids are in that class for 3 straight hours with Jake. And they've got a spotting scope that they go up to the track and they look down. And he's really embraced that. We did ROVs at the Maritime Festival and really trying to get our kids all of the different opportunities that we have to show them what's happening. So that's in essence a little bit about what our Core Plus Maritime program is doing here in PA. And I will let Billy or Raya maybe talk about what they're doing in Nia Bay.
Good morning,
Great.
everybody. Raya is working on a ROV program with our middle school kids, and so and I'll let her talk about that. As far as what we do in the shop here, we have a pretty intense canoe building program. We make ocean-going canoes. 3 of the canoes we made went on tribal journeys this year, and and the biggest one I think nobody thinks about is canoe maintenance. So
Yes.
nonstop. I have 2 canoes on the floor in here right now. We built one of them in 2001, and we're just now doing patchwork on it. That's how well they've stayed together. So I know that one of the canoes, mini hands that we made in the year 2000, it's still in the water right now, tied up at the dock, and it went on tribal journeys. And it was called Mini Hands because we had 6 girls build the canoe, and it was the first time that 6 women had ever worked and finished ocean-going 36-foot canoe. So pretty strong program. I want to give a shout out to Gary McLuhan, who has been our welding instructor. He's from Port Townsend, and he's amazing. He's in a wheelchair. He comes out every Thursday and works with the kids on MIG, TIG, and aluminum welding. And it's been for the last 4 or 5 years. His company is called McLuhan Design, and he's absolutely amazing. So if anybody would ever like to come out and visit our program, you have an open invitation. So thank you.
That's great. Thanks so much, Bill and Raya. Raya, you want to share about your program?
Hi, I'm Raya Hawks. I'm the middle school science teacher here at Nia Bay. Fishing is a really big industry here. So we have a lot of students that go out in the boats in the summer, and they're very, very interested in not just fishing, but like maritime stuff in general. So we've been working with Dave and Core Plus to develop several lessons for like 6th and 7th graders that are maritime themed. And that has been a great resource for me. And also for the past half year, we've been working on starting a submersible ROV program. Those are like little remote controlled submarines that we will be building with the 8th graders this year. So all in all, I try to get my lessons to be more in sync with what students are experiencing in their everyday lives. And I think that Core Plus Maritime has been an incredible resource because this is a very, very heavily maritime community.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Great.
Well, that's terrific. Thank you, you guys. We came up with a term to describe what Billy does that we call it culturally empowered career learning. And he has so infused Macaw culture and the Pacific Ocean into his shop. It's incredible. And, the longer we've been at it, though, I've realized culturally empowered career learning in our region is also about marine and aircraft manufacturing. And it really made me realize that who and where we come from usually determines what we're going to try to do in terms of a career. And so to have the drone program that they've referenced, I call them drones. We're not supposed to, but they are drones. That is now a partnership between literally the Boeing company and the U.S. Navy STEM team. And they're putting this all together. And so before, our whole focus was on grades 11 and 12 and what we call preparatory learning. So to get the kids job ready, that's how Core Plus was driven for, God, damn near 20 years. And that was accomplished through placing kids at the Boeing company. There's now been close to 1,500 kids who've been hired by Boeing straight out of Core Plus. There have been hundreds of kids go on to the Puget Sound Naval Shipyard. So now that we know the program at that end works, what Raya is so instrumental in, and Jen will be eventually, because this is what we want to do in Port Angeles too, is middle school. Why not reach the kids sooner? That for this kind of hands-on sort of aptitude-oriented stuff, these kids are good at this stuff. If they're good at that stuff as a senior in high school, they're good at it in the 6th grade, and they've got that aptitude. Go ahead.
So Dave, let's step back just for a minute, because I think some people, let's make sure everybody knows what career tech education is and what Core Plus is. So, and we've got 5 school districts in Clallam County.
Yeah.
And I know Amanda's on, or at least she was. Yeah, she is. Hi, Amanda. How many school districts in Jefferson? I want to say 5 as well.
No, there's 3 with
3.
high school.
Okay.
High schools.
Okay. So 3 school districts in Jefferson County. And so right, and I mean, Core Plus is renowned as an incredibly effective way to educate students in high school and below. And why it's not more further adopted in Clallam County and Jefferson, I don't understand. It was developed by the employers so that it truly is a system that teaches kids what skills need to be understood today. And it's always updated by big employers. And so it's not, yesterday's skill sets in a version that the employers then say, what were you taught? How, it's very, very applicable and very useful. So I would love to see every school district in our county be using Core Plus. And so but talk, Dave, a little bit about what resources are available at the state level for school districts if they do adopt the Core Plus curriculum program.
There's 3 elements to the program: employer provided curriculum, employer support for teacher training, then in how to use the curriculum, professional development. That's really how we met Billy originally. I had no idea what Nia Bay, other than I went up there with my dad when he went salmon fishing. I had no understanding of the community. We got to know Billy and grew to love him before we had any idea that Nia Bay and the Makah tribe are pretty closely linked. And so again, it was through teacher training and then work-based learning. So how do you get them internships? How do you get them, events? How do they meet employers? All the rest of it. Those 3 program elements are what drive the program. Tremendous momentum on the ground. So if you sign up to do this, typically then you get a grant from Core Plus from the state. And unfortunately, we don't have the grants for the coming school year. In spite of everything we've just said, we were recognized as an unprecedented success 2 years ago by the state legislature. This year, they cut all of our funding, all of it. So one year, you're the toast of the town, you're the best program in the state of Washington, the best they've ever seen. Next year, 100% budget cut. Not a 50% budget cut, 100%. And the funny thing is, our budget from the state was $3 million, but $2 million of that was for the grants directly to schools. So none of us have been getting rich off of Core Plus. The fight with the state of Washington, our governance on the subject of career learning has not really shined in our state. We have competition between the governor and OSPI over who is in charge of career learning. And when we started this back in the day, Colleen, and we were talking to you back then, we did this through OSPI and Randy Dorn when he was superintendent of public instruction. The world who does career learning tries to avoid OSPI, in my opinion, because it's so complicated, it's so bureaucratic. We did the hard work. We went through the process, and then the system works like a dream. The governor, and it was not ill motivated. This is with the best intentions in the world. My wife went to high school with Jay Inslee and his wife, Trudy. Trudy and my wife are still friends. Jay was trying to do the right thing, but they then created a Career Connect Washington, would not work with Core Plus, didn't want to hear what we were doing, because you know how soon, bureaucratically, then this becomes owned by bureaucracies. It becomes owned by the government agencies that are participating. They don't necessarily like that a group outside of the traditional education bureaucracy invented Core Plus. And so although it's been hugely successful, it's been controversial the entire time. Uh, and so we're really trying to work on that. And there is a report that's due to the governor and the legislature by November 15th of this year. We are preparing that policy paper, and I'm willing to share that with anyone who wants to see it. But about how could we do a better job? Again, forget the past. Let's everybody had good intentions. What can we do to make this stuff work more effectively in the future? And part of that has to visit governance. What we have found are port districts are ideal sponsors of Core Plus. Why? You're focused on economic development. That's the sole focus. The Port of Seattle, bless their hearts, for as frustrating as Seattle can be, they pioneered, got a state law passed years ago saying that port districts can do workforce development. They've led the way, but right now we have like 5 really good port district sponsors. And what you share with school districts is you're both special tax districts. You're not general purpose governments. My theory, if you want to talk about it, we can. I think general purpose governments in the United States are really suffering right now because of the partisan divides, the ideology, just all the crap that tends to get thrown into the hopper when you're dealing with a general purpose government. Port districts, hell no, it's the same mission as before. And I think you have sometimes a challenge, Colleen, in explaining to the public what port districts do and the value of that. The public, we have a voter survey we'll share with you that was stunning. Strategies 360 did this about in 2022. They had never seen such a positive response from parents. Didn't matter where they lived in the state, what their gender, what their ethnicity was. They love Core Plus and career learning. This is what parents think schools should be providing for, not for everybody. The future scientists, the STEM people, all of them, that's all great too. But you know, there needs to be something for everybody. And when this is such a strong part of your economy and you can make good money, uh, there's a hilarious thing that happens every once in a while. You'll see media coverage in our state about, oh no, the state of Washington doesn't rank high enough in terms of how many kids are going on to college. You know, well, they don't have any idea. It's because there's such good work that doesn't require a college degree in the state of Washington. And that's not to say they're not going to go on to college. It's just we got to reach them where they are, right? Especially kids who are like in foster care, any of the kids who need a hand up, you know, and bless our society that we worry about them. We got to serve them too. And so you need an education system that works for everybody. Core Plus has been a way for doing that in the field of career learning.
So Dave, as I recall, there are 3 main categories of Career Plus curriculum. One is maritime,
Yes.
right?
Construction.
Another is aerospace, and then construction.
Yes.
And I know you've got some slides. Do you want to talk?
I
about
think
that?
unless there's questions already, or you know, I don't want to just barge through. I'm a talker. You got to rein me in.
That's good. Well, we've got 34 minutes for you to keep talking.
Okay.
I'll share really quick. I'm not going to be able to stay on the whole time,
Yeah.
but here at Port Angeles High School, we're also doing the aerospace, Core Plus aerospace program. And
Okay.
this year we are launching the Core Plus construction.
That's
Good.
great.
So we do the aerospace and maritime are both a 3-hour block period for our students. We're going to launch into construction with just a 1-hour period. That's based on how popular our wood shop and that is. So we want to make sure we're still meeting the needs of our students, but at the same time giving them the opportunities that Core Plus provides. And again, one of the benefits of Core Plus is that all of the support that you get from industry, everybody is on board. You can reach out to industry, you can talk to industry. They're willing to come in and talk to your students. We've had Safe Boats come in, Hakama Group, Arrow, all of these industry people to really, like you had mentioned before, is to keep them industry ready. And that is truly what CTE is about, is making sure that our students walk out of our buildings ready to go, ready to work right away. And so that is what we have been really focused on trying to do. So we're excited that we're going to have all 3 of the Core Plus programs here.
And
That's
Jen,
terrific.
thank you so much for making the time to be here, because this is like the worst week of the year for people like Jen to have to do something like this. So before we lose Jen, I want to reassure you, the legislators are telling us they have us in the supplemental budget request to restore our funding. They all apologized later. They didn't realize what they had done. And so we do believe the grants will be coming back. It's just we're going to have to go a year without them.
So, Jennifer, will you put your email in the chat? I'd like to follow up with you, and Bill, if that's okay. Thank you. So, and I see we do have some questions.
Sure.
Yes, go ahead, Bill.
I've got one more. So I just want to thank Tori and Becklin and Dave. I've been with Core Plus Maritime since the startup of their program.
Yeah.
And the number one thing in our shop is water safety.
Yeah.
And I think of Core Plus Maritime, the number one thing, we put over 100 students through water safety certification. And last year we had teachers come out and we went out on the Windsong charter boat and we did an 8-hour water safety certification. And we work with our local Coast Guard here to make sure that happens.
Yes.
It's pretty important to me. So
Very important.
thank you.
Billy, you've
Thanks so
helped us
much, Bill.
all learn about that. Amanda? Is that her hand up?
Yeah.
So I'm curious how this fits in with Career Tech Ed. So Core Plus is a component of Career Tech Ed through SPI,
Yes.
and teachers who have Career Tech Ed curriculum can request to join the Core Plus
Yes.
So,
organization.
I
and
might be able to
receive-
answer that too, is that it is a framework that you can adopt for your school district. And so for all CTE, also vocational, some people know it as vocational. That is something that we adopted through the frameworks that OSPI offers. And again, those are state approved frameworks. So they're pretty easy to adopt from the state. And then you have a certified teacher. Billy has amazing background in industry and that. And then like Jake, our instructor, he worked on the coho and also has a background in engines. And so as long as you have an instructor that has a background in it, and then you get the frameworks approved, you can run it at your schools.
Yeah.
And I
Well,
think
go ahead.
it's so important to get the high schools connected with Peninsula College programs also. So there's, seamless transitions and also the college I know is working on giving credits for programs so that you get college credits for some of that work as well.
Yes. We've been very happy working with the metal fabricating program at Peninsula.
Great.
You've got a good program there. Again, it's strengths. You've got these strengths to build on. This is terrific. And wood products will be back. I guarantee you. I mean, you've got some of the greatest trees in the world. Ryan and I met each other out at the Macaw Sawmill. Bless their hearts. When was the last time a brand new sawmill was opened up on the Olympic Peninsula? But the Macaw got one, and it's functional. And your wood product industry, I guarantee you, at some point is coming back. And those are phenomenal assets for you to build on too. And then the wonderful woodworking that you can do, anyway, I'll go on and on. If you want to switch to the slideshow, I can go and we can run
Colleen,
through
can
that.
I respond to Paul's really quick? Because I
Sure.
think
Oh, yeah.
that's
Sure.
a really important question. We all have 21st century leadership skills, and it's one of the most important things that we're teaching our students is how to be on time, how to work within a team. What does it look like to work with that? The state has the 21st century leadership skills, and we embed those in every lesson that we can embed in and talk about those skill set. A lot of times we're giving them an introduction to what that industry is like, but also most importantly, we need to make sure that they're prepared to walk in and do the job. And that means being on time, being a team member, knowing how to work together with another group. And so it's really important for us that those are skills that we're teaching them.
Great. Thanks, Jennifer. So Roy has a question. Roy?
You actually mentioned Peninsula College. I mean, first of all, I'm inspired. Thanks very much. It's great to have Dave and the whole team. Starting the earlier you can start, the better. So I wholeheartedly second your kind of instincts about getting into the middle school where possible, and then carrying this kind of these kinds of programs forward somewhat seamlessly all the way into the community college level where relevant. Anyway, so I could say more, but I know Dave's got slides, so I'm happy to just be quiet and listen and see and observe. Thank you.
Thank you, Roy. Okay.
All right, well, I'll go ahead and share those slides then. All right, here we go. Okay.
Okay. This was my staff came up with the idea this year about why don't we do a yearbook just like we did, used to have in high school. And I just love the concept. So first up, work ready, world ready. This is true of welding and the merchant marine system. If you can meet national standards for work on these areas, you can take that credential and get a job anywhere in the world. Now, this is a very compelling message for the kids on the merchant marine stuff. That system is fantastic, but it's almost impossible to understand or explain to outsiders. And so we've broken that down into now a potential a 57-hour course that would enable you to gain certification as an ordinary seafarer after training in fire suppression, emergency medical, personal safety. And once you get that ordinary seafarer endorsement from the U.S. Coast Guard, you're literally eligible for a deckhand job anywhere in the world. And one of the things we're going to bring out of the merchant marine system for what Billy was talking about with marine safety is to use the merchant marine standards because they work beautifully for marine safety. And so if the kids in middle school are starting to learn safety, and we're going to work on that through the canoe journey with Native American communities, we can start exposing them to the merchant marine system like in 7th and 8th grade. And so they get used to the language, get used to the concept. Right now, that's really tough for enrollment. The professional sailor schools are struggling with it. The community college programs are struggling with it. And it's because nobody understands what the system is. So again, that's going to be a big part of it. Why don't we go to the next page? Yeah, we're right now. This is just maritime. We're at 30 locations around the state of Washington. We're now on the Columbia River, the Pacific Coast, the Strait of Juan de Fuca, all over Puget Sound. And we have 3 schools in Southeast Alaska that want to join. We have got more than 2,000 students who are getting 1 to 3 hours of skills training every day. We provide teacher training that is the heart of the program. This is stuff that meets the state standards for teacher training quality. 46 teachers went through teacher training with us last year. This was how we met Jen and her wonderful teacher, Jake. It's how we met Raya. We already knew Billy. We were able to give away $550,000 in maritime grants. We added marine transportation, and we did that. We referenced earlier that the Black Ball Ferry Line, very wonderful working with Jen and her kids. That is terrific. To get kids on a big ship like the Coho, to get in the engine room, to get up on the bridge, to get to do firefighting drills, the kids absolutely love it. We did this with Washington State Ferries, and the first 64 of our kids that did it had to fill out written surveys at the end. It was off the chart. Half the kids who did the tour wanted to go to work for Washington State Ferries. The American Cruise Lines has joined the effort down in Vancouver, Washington on the Columbia River, so we think they're going to be part of it too. This has probably not happened at this kind of scale before, where you're getting, again, merchant marine training that young. And through the Suquamish tribe, we got to be part of the canoe journey this year, and with the Suquamish kids, and then the landing up at Elwha there in your neck of the woods. And what we're hoping to do, working with Billy and the Makah and the Suquamish, is start with their kids to do the canoe journey to get the safety, marine safety training. But understand, it's merchant marine, work ready, world ready. You're learning global marine skills that build on your community strengths, your commercial fishing that you do, your love of seafood, your love of the ocean. That will be a really powerful addition to the program, and we hope to start that next summer with the canoe journey. Graduates hired by Yeah, Puget Sound Naval Shipyard. The kids get placed that really want jobs. Now, most of them, and we're trying to document this better, most of them go on to post-secondary. This isn't, most of them aren't looking for a job immediately out of high school. But again, the foster kids, the kids who kind of need that leg up, I think it's really important that we meet that need, along with the talented kids. You've got one, Jen, and I can't remember his name. Is it Josh? He was like the CTE Student of the Year, and was in Jake's class, and he got hired. I can't remember if it was, I don't remember who hired him, but the
It
kid's
was Cody
impressive.
Amstel.
Yeah, very impressive kid, very talented. And that was a kid for whom a job after high school was really important. Okay, next slide. Um, this is, all of these are people who are involved in our decision making. These are the people providing input, and it's a hell of a group. If you look under subject matter experts and go down the list, we alphabetized it by first names. Lucy Defoe, this is slightly controversial. The Suquamish tribe, I'm going to use this term, stole Lucy away. She was the principal at Nia Bay. And we're all disappointed that she went to the Suquamish, but I think it's going to make both tribal efforts better by uniting at different times. We can help their kids better by combining those two. And I'll tell you, because I'm familiar with the history, we had to do it for our curriculum. You couldn't ask for two better tribes in terms of well-documented history and the success that the Suquamish and the Makah had in adapting to Europeans and invaders and all the rest of it in very different ways. They succeeded. And this is an important part of not looking at Native Americans always as victims of things. They were triumphant in many ways. Any of them who survived, deserve a medal, but some of them really thrived. The Makah tribe had damn near a monopoly on whale oil as a lubricant for sawmills in the Pacific Northwest when this was the sawmill capital of the world. They made a fortune off of it. That's how they bought big ships and started fishing in the North Pacific. Let's credit them. That's what Billy can tell his kids. That's what Raya can tell her kids. They're building on traditional future. They're building on what they're already good at. They are world-class mariners. Okay, next page. Student events. Okay, you see the smoke off? You look it up there, the Billy doesn't have a shop at Nia Bay. He has like a whole school annex. He has wound up taking over a significant portion of that school. And we did the seafood smoke off. You can see the smoke sheds. No better group. If you want somebody to come serve seafood in Port Angeles, well, we should ask the Elwha, the Skolem first. But to get those communities together around seafood, they're all good at it. They love to compete. Jen Rogers could tell you, because she's the girls' basketball coach, playing the Lady Red Devils in girls basketball is an experience. And that school might be 1/4 the size of Port Angeles High School, but every year it's one of the toughest games on their schedule. And you do not want to play their boys in 8-man football because they're going to kick your ass. I saw them play the Tulalip Heritage High School team 66-8. It was not that close. The kids out there, when you walk by the gym, you can't walk by the Nia Bay gym without hearing pounding basketballs. And if you've ever seen the Netflix show Res Ball, again, this is something they're great at. They're great at competing. They're great at fighting for themselves. So the seafood smoke-off was a great hit. And then I hope Billy's still on the line because we want to congratulate him. He does a School Without Walls event at the end of May every year. Next year, if you haven't seen that, you probably should go out and seen it. It is stunning. They skinned 2 bears during School Without Walls at Nia Bay High School. There's not a whole lot of schools in the state of Washington where you could go watch them skin a bear, but they were skinning a bear. Unbelievable connection to wildlife, and they do it in a loving, respectful way. So anyway, these are our events that we do. If you see at the bottom, the wonderful experiences, again, with Washington State Ferries. all credit to them that they would take a risk on these kids, not worry about the insurance issues and all the rest. And I can tell you not one discipline problem. All of our kids, if you entertain our kids, they come out of a hierarchical learning environment. In shop class, not every student's opinion matters. It ain't like English, it ain't like history, and you might have an opinion, but at the end of the day, the shop teacher tells you what the heck's going on. And when it's all about safety, you just got to follow the rules. So they do. So they conducted themselves beautifully in what could have been these, you know, potentially hazardous work environments. Beautiful job. Next slide. Oh, mock interviews. We do where we can. Again, that's a resource issue. My staff does a beautiful job. We call it a reverse job fair. I love job fairs, but I'll tell you, I sometimes question how effective they are at actually helping a kid, get ahead. The mock interviews, when you tell the employers, we're going to take you to a shop class where every one of these kids is interested in what your company does, the employers love it. At a typical job fair, the industrial guys and gals tend to get ignored. Everybody wants to go to all the merch and the high tech and da. So our folks love it too, and that's something to think about. Reverse job fair. Anyway, next slide. Rookie All-Stars. This was Mount Si High School, just did a beautiful job with aluminum boats. We listed Port Angeles High School. They did a beautiful job joining. These were others that all came in this year. Wonderful additions to the program. And then launching in the fall, the Cascadia Tech Skill Center on the Columbia River. They do an excellent job down there. And man, why did it take till now for the Columbia River School to do maritime? But that's been our state's record. We have been very late in responding to maritime as a topic that should be taught in our schools. But gosh, they've got a great program down there in the Columbia River. And then there is a marine transportation program starting at our partner school, Snow Owl Skill Center in Everett. And this will be a 540-hour instruction program your senior year in merchant marine training. And we will see then, we'll have our first senior class coming out next June, and we'll see, okay, where does that take them? What are they able to do with it? But Billy, when he does the marine safety, like I said, through the canoe journey, we're going to start incorporating the merchant marine safety standards into everything. It's what you have to follow. There's no distinction here. Coast Guard is in charge of career learning for maritime in the United States of America, not a traditional education group. The Coast Guard doesn't have any wiggle room. I think that's terrific, and we're going to have the Coast Guard involved. We're telling them, we're talking to them already. They've supported the program. We don't want them just here as the regulator. We want you here as a partner. We don't want this to be, well, what minimum can we achieve to make this work in our region? Pacific Northwest should have the best program in the nation at this stuff. And when we can bring in the Tlingit and the Haida out of Southeast Alaska, their schools, our tribes, our most of our schools are not tribal schools. I don't mean to give you the wrong idea. But to be able to bring all of that to the table, I think will just be amazing. Next slide.
Hey, Dave, how many schools or school districts, however you want to characterize it, are using Core Plus curriculum in the program?
Right now, between construction, aerospace, and maritime, it's well over 100.
Okay. Got it. Thanks.
Yeah.
And there are
It's-
395 school districts in the state?
Yeah, something like that.
So about a quarter.
Yeah.
Okay.
Perhaps most amazingly, we are in the Seattle Public Schools. That is damn near a miracle. And our group, we started Rainier Beach High School, which is a block away from Lake Washington. Jesus, what a setting. And we showed up there, it was in 2011, and there was a padlock on their metal shop door. We got inside, it was us, Boeing, everybody, and we get inside, cobwebs covered everything. The school had no idea how long their metal shop had been closed. Within 3 years, we were producing graduates who got jobs directly at the Boeing company.
That's
And
wonderful.
this thing is
Yeah.
reopening, brand new, gorgeous high school like they only build in Seattle, hundreds of millions of dollars. And our new metal shop is all part of that program. So we're returning there in September. I'm particularly proud of that because this is our hometown. It's the only district where this hasn't grown. But I think it will this time around. So all our successes, this is just, you see Billy there, some of the drills the kids do, the enthusiasm, and then the placement. Bela, our welding teacher from Bremerton, is down there at the bottom with his kids. That guy is the master at placing kids at the Puget Sound Naval Shipyard. Bela's dad used to manage all the welding stations at the shipyard. Bela's dream as a teacher was to be a kindergarten teacher, and he couldn't find a job, so he defaulted to the family traditional future of welding. And this guy is the most unbelievable high school welding teacher in the state of Washington. Wonderful guy. Next slide. Okay, just more pictures, more of the same. We can skip that one. Go ahead to the next one. This was a great, this next page is really something else. The submersible ROVs. Our very first activity with the ROVs, this is with the Navy STEM team. This is like, robotics is wildly popular. Well, this is robotics, but underwater. And like Jennifer and Raya were saying, you can chase sea critters with this stuff. That you can look at plant. Billy was talking about using them because they've had different, kelp farms going at Nia Bay. The teachers and the kids love these drones. Just love them. And that where you see Wenatchee in the swimming pool, what they're not showing you is Billy and the shop teacher from Rogers High School got into some sort of issue there and winding up in the pool themselves, wrestling around, but everybody was rescued. And that Rogers teacher, who was one of the best aerospace teachers, Boeing loves the guy. He's placed 25 kids at the Boeing company, gave up his job at Rogers High School, took a middle school job on the peninsula because all he wants to teach anymore is submersible drones. And so Raya and the gang are teachers because they all collaborate, right, through us. So Araya, who's brand new at doing it, can then collaborate with her peers, right? Doesn't have to listen to me go on and on. Talk to your fellow teachers. They all live in that same universe, and that's been the wonderful strength of our program is the teachers get to collaborate. You wonder what, like the great welding teacher, what does he get out of Core Plus? It's that camaraderie. It's being able to be part of the team with all the other teachers. And then conversely, for every other teacher, you're getting to partner with the best welding teacher in the state of Washington. And Billy, your fellow from Nia Bay, is a beloved member of that shop teacher team. So anyway, if you love shop or shop teachers, call me up and we can get you plugged into all that. Next slide. Okay, these are just more fun pictures. Oh, this is the one down at the bottom. That's Billy and the teacher from Rogers High School after they got out of the swimming pool during their wrestling match in the water. There's no other education program that's going to have something like that happen than ours. Okay, then these were our recognition. Again, Jeff Wynn, great teacher from South Kitsap High School, totally deserved a $100,000 award from Harbor Freight Tools. A lot of that goes to his school, but he wasn't our outstanding educator of the year. It was Paco. That's Billy's name out at Nia Bay, and because of the beauty of what he does, you see him there with the seafood. Does a beautiful job. Central Welding Supply has been a terrific partner. We would be the career learning program that is most engaged with Central Welding Supply, probably. And then you see down there, Harbor Freight gave the award to Jeff. So. And then the bottom on the right, we did get a bill passed last session, House Bill 1167, that officially adds marine transportation to the Core Plus universe. And so there you see a picture of our folks down with the governor signing that bill. That's Clyde Shavers. He is one of our sponsors. One of our other ones, if you know the world of education, is Sharon Tomiko Santos, who runs the House Education Committee. Sharon is a tough cookie. I have known her since 1994 in Seattle, and she is our main sponsor in Olympia, and we couldn't ask for a better one in the legislature. Next slide. Okay, well then just industry sponsors. That's the real staff. See you next year, and I'll tell you the funnest event we have is at the Kitsap County Fairgrounds, October 22nd. We do try a trade. We usually get 500, 600 kids. This year, as part of that, it's actually could be called the Chief Kitsap Fairgrounds. It's amazing how many people know the term Kitsap but don't know there was a Chief Kitsap. He was who preceded Chief Seattle, and that stuff is all in our curriculum. And it's going to be fun because, again, it was controversial, but Lucy Defoe left Nia Bay, now is teaching at was the principal for the Chief Kitsap Academy with the Suquamish, but everybody will be together at Try-A-Trade this year. Acosta High School is coming from over in Westport. They're part of it. They're bringing Native American kids over there. Where Lucy's got connections with the Clallam and the Elwha. They've participated in the past. The Suquamish will be there. It should be a heck of a program coming up October 22nd. If any of you want to come, if any of you want to co-sponsor, Colleen, if the EDC or the port districts, we're looking, we have to pay for all this stuff. So anyway, that's kind of the program.
Great. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Okay, does anyone have any further questions of Dave about Core Plus? I mean, you know, and then we don't have too many aerospace companies up here. We have one, ACTI, and I expect that they'll be having announcements soon with expansion. So that's pretty cool, which that's one of the things I wanted to talk to Jennifer about, Jen. But I'd like to really see, especially the maritime and the construction programs in our high schools. And yeah, Core Plus does such a great job of connecting the local industry employers, especially when they need to hire, to the kids and the teachers in the classrooms. It's an existing organized system that, you know, the school districts just have to adopt it. And so, and if a school district did adopt Core Plus, what typically is the cost associated with adopting that program for supplies and the like?
Colleen, you have put your finger on the magic of this program. The biggest cost in all this are the teachers, the facilities, the schools, the transportation. The brilliance of what we came up with is how cheap it is because you're taking advantage of what's already there.
Right.
And so we don't have to go out and hire teachers. We don't have to go out and rent a training facility or get equipment. We help the existing people do that. And, you know, I mentioned earlier Career Connect Washington, which is the governor's statewide program. In 2024, their program cost $50 million. Core Plus cost the public $3 million in terms of a state investment because it's minuscule for a great outcome because, again, we're taking advantage of what your taxpayers are already paying for. And this is what has gotten to be a very old story for our employers in Seattle. They are tired of raising money for this thing. You know, this has proven itself. This should have been stable funding from the state of Washington. And I'm very frustrated that didn't come through. So there again, we immediately were getting apologies from the legislature. Part of it was where we were in the state budget. It gets really complicated. So they weren't judging Core Plus. They were judging larger funding pots that we're part of.
Well, and Career Connect Washington didn't receive funding again. As I understand it, it got entirely cut.
They did get cut also, yes.
Yeah. So Roy, you had a question? We got 4 minutes.
I did. I know it's short. First, again, super inspiring, Dave.
Thank you, Roy.
I think it'd be worthwhile to meet as a sidebar. I mean, I've worked with
I'd love to meet with
Colleen and the EDC team. I'm also an account executive for Impact Washington, focused on manufacturing excellence. In particular in this part of the, you know, northwestern part of the state and on the peninsula. So and so I think I'd like to, you know, I'm seeing the possibility of I mean, on the front end of the program, Colleen mentioned the Recompete grant, for example. Anyway, so I can think of ways that we might connect different pieces of what you're doing and perhaps complement or supplement some of the events that you're teeing up in the ensuing
Oh,
months.
that would get my email and follow up. I
I
would
will.
love to
I will.
talk to you. Wasn't Impact Washington wasn't it John Vickland who originally?
Perhaps I'm
Okay.
only 7 months fresh with the
Oh,
organization. Although when I lived in Seattle, I actually represented them,
okay.
wearing a different hat.
Yeah, okay.
Um,
I was
anyway,
just curious.
and I'm also I've spent 5 years as a high school educator and coach, and I love
Oh,
working
good.
with youth. And anyway, so I see the importance of what you're doing. It's critical,
Good.
actually.
Well, thank you. Thank you. We think so also.
Yeah. All right. Well, anybody have any last questions of Dave or the team? Yeah, it's an exceptional program that is industry driven and an existing system that I would love. I know, gosh, Kay and I have been trying to push Squim School District to adopt it. I met with the high school principal and the CTE director back in 2016, I think it was, saying, you guys need to adopt Core Plus. You need to look at this. And I was telling them all about it, and they just wanted to keep doing what they had been doing. But it's an exceptional program that and so there's a question, can we get Dave's contact info? Dave, do you want to put your contact info?
Mitch has everything.
Okay.
Mitch knows how to
Mitch, you
reach.
put it in there for us.
And Colleen, to your point, just before we leave it, this was why we adopted a teacher first strategy, was because of your Squim experience. The Boeing company can meet with anyone, and we learned very quickly that we could meet with superintendents, school boards, oh yeah, principals. If they didn't have a teacher, they were bringing nothing to the table. And so we reversed it and said teachers first. That's why we just advertised through the Shop Teacher Association statewide. Hey, we got grants. You want a grant? We'll give you one. Then you go sell this to your school district.
Yep.
That was the smartest thing we ever did.
Yeah. All right. Well, great. Thanks so much for joining us, Dave. Really
Thank you.
appreciate your work and your time today and
Yes.
your team. So everyone have a great day. We'll have this recording up on our website later on. Bye-bye.
Okay. Thank you.